But first, let's go across to Sidharth Yadav, spokesperson of the BJP, Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst, and Sanjeev Srivastava, senior journalist. My namaste, Jai Hind and Jai Bharat to everybody. Thank you very much. Sanjeev Srivastava, let's start with you. Your thoughts. Where do you stay, where do you find yourself? You're still sitting on the fence on one nation, one elections, or you're not convinced it makes sense?
No, I'm not sitting on the fence. If the answer has to be just in yes or no, I am in favor of one nation, one election. Because it makes sense. I think the biggest benefit of it will be that the country will not be in a 24/7, 365 days, 5-year cycle of elections, and you can focus more on governance. But I have several buts, which if you have time, I'll just enumerate a few. When you talk about money being saved, yes, it's public money will be saved, no doubt. But the 90% of the expense in election is political parties and candidates' expenses. So that will remain the same, and that also helps somewhere the country's economy, the number 2 economy. So many people are dependent on that expenditure. So public money will be saved, yes, but the private money, which is I think 10 or 50x more than public money, or 100x more maybe. I have no calculator to estimate that, but that will not be saved. Number 2, the big issue with this entire debate is that what Mr. Kovind has recommended, that if the parliament passes it with a certain majority, I think it will be 2/3, 360 is the number required, then it should be okay. But when you are talking about simultaneous elections, how can you not take the view of states? It has to be ratified by states. And this proposal of Mr. Kovind, and to the best of my knowledge, does not talk about ratification from the states. So now you're talking about democratic exercise without taking into account the states, which I find so a little odd and not correct.
I think
these issues, if they are addressed, I would really raise my hands for one nation, one election. Why not? And we had them till 67. And it's a fair exercise. And of course, it gives an undue advantage to the national party. National parties, big parties, big popular leaders, because a narrative gets set.
Now, if we look at it the other way, if just playing the devil's advocate here before we open it to Tehseen and Sidharth Yadav, Sanjeev Srivastava, the fact is, if you're talking about private money or the number 2 money, if there is going to be simultaneous election, then the amount spent is going to be... I'm just saying whatever they play, the political parties are spending this money, they're spending it only for one time. They don't have to say, oh, I've just finished the Lok Sabha, now I got to recharge, rebuild and recollect funds and generate funds separately for the Vidhan Sabha. So clearly the aspect of corruption, the aspect of trying to shore up donations, or anything else also reduces drastically. Secondly, what about the regional satraps? Someone like an Akhilesh Yadav would have wanted the UP elections to happen simultaneously with Lok Sabha 2024, especially when the kind of performance that they turned out in Lok Sabha. They would have actually licked their chances that had it happened, had Vidhan Sabha also happened, they may have had a chance to not just perhaps come back very strongly in opposition, but maybe even topple the government. So the argument swings both ways. You have cases of Andhra Pradesh, cases of Odisha, cases of Arunachal Pradesh, where the people on ground have voted very differently. So it goes, yes, but this perennial cycle is not just the election expenditure, sir. The perennial cycle of elections also costs us in terms of schools being shut down, administrative work being shut down, government work, bureaucracy shutting down work and not doing anything till once the model code of conduct kicks in. So that is also the unseen cost to the country and to the economy and the GDP. And that's why they said that it could have an impact of as much as 1 to 1.5% of the GDP. But Sidharth Yadav, why should the states not be consulted?
Don't give me a chance to... I'll
come back. Wait. Okay. I'm just making observations. And then we'll take it further. Everybody is going to weigh in with their opinions on this. Sidharth Yadav.
No, Anand, definitely consultation has to happen. And the reason that consultation is the priority of the government, that is why a panel was formed. The panel has done a very wide consultation across the country. It took several months, several opinions were taken from different strata of the society. All those compiled together, a report was made. Now we have sent it to the legislative consultation process. A JPC is formed. JPC is doing to do consultation, give their opinions and do that. It is for the larger good of the country. For such issues, all political parties, I think, should come on one board. They should come together with a positive mindset, a positive attitude, and contribute positively of how we can do this best. Because all of us know that this is for the betterment. Now, had this not been for the betterment, I think the constitution framers or our forefathers would not have allowed it to happen. The simultaneous elections happened in 52, 57, 62, all the times when we as a country, became a republic and we started off our journey as an independent country. We started off with simultaneous elections. It was only after one political party would choose, who choose that governments have to be toppled and Article 356 was misused, and all of this happened. Now today we know expenses is one aspect. Definitely, we are spending, according to the reports in 2019, I think 60,000 crores in the last election was spent. So when such large expenses are happening, policy paralysis happen. Everybody knows that we are always in election mode. Political leaders are in election mode. Forget that. The executive of this country, the functionaries, the administrative functionaries. Now Delhi assembly elections are happening. I can tell you, and I bet one survey for this should also happen, that how many employees of the central government which are serving in the central government have been summoned by the election commission to do election commitment in Delhi. Now for 2 months, all those departments of the central government are also going to be understaffed because elections are happening here. Haryana elections happened. Lok Sabha elections happened. 6 months later, 4 months later, Vidhan Sabha elections happened. Now, Haryana is preparing for municipal elections. So, in 1 year, in 2 years, we are doing three elections, four elections in states. So, effectively, every state is facing elections every year. Now, this cannot be an ideal situation for any country which has to progress. No. So, I think it's a very progressive step, and everybody should contribute progressively.
See, every political party stands to gain or lose whichever prism you would like to see, and this entire constant going back and doling out doles, that compulsion for political parties to somehow woo the voters also comes back and hurts the taxpayers only, because eventually it's coming from there, and that's only about 9 to 10 crore people. It's not who are funding or who are footing the bills majorly. If you discount the indirect taxes, direct taxes come from there only.